Carson.
Yes, I know. Stella Chernak admitted her testimony was a lie. That must have been quite a surprise for you, Mr. Fowler.
Yes, it was quite a shock.
Well, you have a statement you want to make?
Not exactly. I wanted you to know what had happened.
Well, I appreciate you giving me a break on this story.
That's all right. I had another reason.
I see. Well, then let's get to that, then, the other reason.
I asked you to come over here. You, particularly, because I know you resent me. You suspected that I was out to hang Rodney Harrington because of my alleged hatred of the whole Harrington family. Now that Stella Chernak has admitted that her testimony against Rodney was a complete fabrication, I'm sure you're convinced that I knew she was lying all the time. I'm sure you think you have a case against me, Mr. Carson.
Is that the statement you want to make, Mr. Fowler?
That is what you think, isn't it?
I don't think I could have said it any better myself. But I'm going to try for tomorrow morning's paper.
Carson, I'll have my secretary send you a copy of the slander and libel laws of the state.
Why don't you save the taxpayers the postage?
Save yourself a lawsuit and stick to the truth.
The fact is that you avoided the truth deliberately.
I believe Stella Chernak was telling the truth.
You didn't believe anything. You were barking at Rodney Harrington's heels 10 minutes after he came into the police station to explain that Joe Chernak's death was an accident.
You want the statistics on how many innocent men are convicted every year?
I don't want any statistics, but a young boy's life was almost wrecked because of you, because of your blind spot.
I'm a public servant. I'm fallible. I made a mistake. Why can't you understand that?
You didn't make a mistake, Fowler. You wanted to believe that Harrington was guilty.
It was my job to prosecute him.
It was your job to see, like anyone who was objective could see, that Stella Chernak had 100 vicious reasons for destroying Rodney Harrington. But you couldn't face that fact. No, you were blind because you had your own reasons for punishing the Harringtons. Just as you couldn't face the fact that your wife could have driven the car that knocked down Allison.
It's not the same.
You were blind to it because you couldn't face the fact of anything interfering with your prosecution of Rodney Harrington.
They're two different situations, and you know it. I've made a lot of mistakes in my career. Fortunately, this one can be corrected. Will be corrected. I'm going to go on making mistakes, whether I like it or not. No matter how hard I try in the future to avoid them, I'll make mistakes. And so will you.
And if I have anything to say about it, you won't make any more mistakes. You won't have a chance to. You've got a defect, Fowler. That blind spot's a defect. And once the public that you serve finds out about it, they're not going to allow you to remain behind that desk. Because you're dangerous, Fowler.
If you think you can force me to resign, you're a fool.
You were wrong, Fowler. And anyone that's that wrong, something's got to be done about it. I'm going to do everything I can to get you removed from office. And I believe I can do it. But I'll offer you the same courtesy you offered Rodney Harrington. How do you plead, Fowler? Guilty? Or just incompetent? A signed statement. Stella Chernak has confessed to perjury.
Rodney's free.
Well, not yet, but I'm sure he will be.
I was afraid he didn't have a chance. Afraid he might have to spend the best years of his life rotting away in some prison. That Chernak woman, she should pay for what she did to my grandson. What'll I give her? 1 year, 2, maybe a suspended sentence. And she tried to put my grandson behind bars for life.
Stella deserves to be punished. But no court could do more to her than she's already done to herself. She's serving a life sentence right now. And there's no appeal.
You're not excusing her conduct?
No, sir. But I don't feel I have to hound her for it.
You leave that to me.
I'll leave it to the law.
Well, the important thing is that Rodney's going to be released.
How did you manage it, Stephen?
It's a long story, Mother. And I better get back to the office and work on the last chapter. I'll be meeting with Fowler and Judge Jessup.
I suppose you expect an apology. Well, maybe I owe it to you.
No, Mr. Peyton, you don't owe me anything. Well, as you said, the important thing is Rodney is going to be released. I'll call you after the meeting. Ready, Mother?
You owe Stephen a lot more than an apology.
I know to whom I'm indebted, Hannah. And why?
He saved the life of one of Catherine's sons. Now, you admitted privately you thought it couldn't be done.
I haven't forgotten. I haven't forgotten anything. No matter what you may think, Hannah, Stephen is very much on my mind.
Can you be ready at 7:30? I could use some of that champagne. Mr. Peyton left me a little dry.
Fine.
Fine what?
I'll be ready at 7:30.
You seem a little preoccupied.
Yeah, I guess so.
Betty Rod's going to be free now. It'll be different for all of us.
How?
You know perfectly well. When Rod was facing prison, it was safe for you to care about him. And I had no right to complain about it. Now I do.
You've made your point.
I wonder if I have. You know, I have a feeling that when I leave here, you're going to wait by that telephone to see if Rod calls you or Allison first.
I'll be ready at 7:30, all right?
All right.
Is it true?
Absolutely. I stopped by to congratulate Rodney. He says he wants to see you.
How did it happen?
Well, why don't you let Rodney tell you about that?
Mother said Stella Chernick.
Listen, Allison, Rodney says he wants to see you, so why don't you just get out of here?
All right, all right. Goodbye, Mother. I found her in the library. She cried when I told her.
Well, she has a right to.
Elliot.
Now, Connie, I admire your persistence and I love your stubbornness, but you have to know when to stop. Now, we've talked about this before, and my feelings haven't changed. John Fowler does not belong in office. He's got a defect, a blind spot, and I'm going to make the public aware of it.
You're excited about this now. Your feelings are so strong. Maybe too strong. Don't you think you should wait maybe a day or two before you write this editorial?
Connie, nothing is going to change my mind.
Must be nice to be so sure of anything.
I'll attribute your sarcasm to the fact that you've had a long day.
You can attribute it to the fact that I disagree with you.
I'm not asking you to share my convictions of John Fowler.
You've appointed yourself his executioner. Well, he was wrong. He made mistakes.
Mistakes? You're talking about it as if he used the wrong fork or he ate peas off a knife. He almost destroyed Rodney Harrington's life.
That's right. Now, don't you destroy John Fowler just because he isn't perfect. None of us can survive judgment like that.
Now, look it, Connie. I have to finish this by tomorrow morning's paper. I don't want to argue with you about this anymore, and I don't want to have to stay up half the night trying to finish it.
You've got a blind spot of your own, Elliot.
Drop it, Connie.
I can't.
Now, look, I've fumbled around a long time trying to find myself. Now I know what I want to do. Fowler's negligence, his corruption, has helped to show me what I want to do with this newspaper. The name of this paper is the Clarion. Well, from now on, it's going to be the Clarion. It's going to have teeth in it.
Preview from the continuing story of Peyton Place.
You're ambitious and you're greedy. You can offer Rodney nothing but hotel rooms. Accept that bit of truth, Leslie.
You're going to have to defend this editorial for a long time, so save your arguments. They get stale with repeating.
I love you. Don't run away, Betty. Don't run away.